Imagine a garden overrun with weeds, covering paths that were once vibrant and full of life. The atmosphere feels heavy, and the beauty of the garden seems lost beneath the thick, wild overgrowth. Then, someone appears with determination and the right tools. They begin to pull weeds, prune branches, and tend to the garden. Step by step, cut by cut, the garden gradually regains its former beauty. This image is not just a visual scene, it's a profound metaphor for our minds. Your mind is like a garden. If left unattended, the weeds of negativity, anxiety, and bad habits will take over. These weeds don't just overshadow the flowers of peace and happiness, they also drain your focus and derail your life's direction. But what if you decided to garden your mind? What if you cleared out the weeds, planted seeds of positivity, and nurtured your inner world every day? 2025 can be the year of transformation. It can be the year you reclaim inner peace, live a more meaningful life, and achieve your biggest goals. But for that to happen, you must start with your mind. No need for drastic changes overnight, just small, intentional steps to remove what's holding you back. Today, I'll be your guide on this unique journey. Together, we'll explore 11 things you should quietly eliminate from your life. These may seem small at first glance, but their impact is profound. Letting them go won't just free up your energy, it will also help you cultivate a strong, focused, and resilient mind. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt trapped in cycles of negativity, weighed down by emotions, or stuck in relationships that don't serve you? Have you ever wondered why you sometimes lose balance and why your efforts don't seem to yield the results you want? If the answer is yes, then this video is for you. Think of your life as a painting. Every decision you make is a brushstroke. Removing what no longer serves you is like erasing the wrong lines, creating space for new colors and more beautiful details. And this journey doesn't have to be rushed. Step by step, day by day, you'll notice significant changes in both your mind and your life. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. By doing so, you won't miss any of the Stoicism insights, deep lessons, and self-improvement journeys I share. Leave a comment below. I'm ready to change, so we can connect and walk this path together. Get ready as we uncover 11 things you need to eliminate to make 2025 a year of transformation. Let's start with the first one. 1. Stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a silent thief. It robs you of joy, drains your confidence, and leaves you feeling inadequate. Yet, in today's world, where social media magnifies the best moments of others' lives, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to what seems like perfection. But here's the truth. Comparison does nothing but hold you back. Each of us is on a unique journey, shaped by different circumstances, talents, and values. To compare yourself to someone else is like comparing an apple to an orange. They are both fruits, but they're fundamentally different. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, reminds us, don't waste energy worrying about others. Focus on yourself. This wisdom holds the key to reclaiming your peace of mind and redirecting your energy toward personal growth. When you compare yourself to others, you shift your focus from your own progress to someone else's achievements. This misdirection does more harm than good. It undermines your self-worth. Seeing someone else succeed where you're struggling can make you feel less than. You forget your own strengths and dwell on perceived weaknesses. It creates unrealistic expectations. Most comparisons are based on incomplete information. You might see someone's outward success, but remain unaware of the struggles and sacrifices behind it. It disrupts your inner peace. Constantly measuring yourself against others leads to anxiety and dissatisfaction, as no one can match up to every ideal in every situation. Instead of letting comparison steal your happiness, turn your focus inward. By concentrating on your unique path, you'll not only find peace, but also unlock your full potential. The Stoics understood the futility of comparison. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to reflect inwardly and cultivate self-awareness. His philosophy centers on the idea that your thoughts and actions are within your control. Everything else is irrelevant. Why waste your precious mental energy on what someone else is doing when you could use that same energy to improve yourself? Epictetus also emphasized this point, stating, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our thoughts about those things. When you allow thoughts of comparison to dominate, you are choosing to disturb your own peace. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what truly matters, living in accordance with our own values and striving to be the best version of ourselves. Breaking the habit of comparison takes practice, but it's possible with intentional actions. Here's how. Create a personal achievement list. Take a moment to reflect on your own successes, no matter how big or small. Write them down. Your achievements are proof of your growth and capabilities. Reviewing them regularly can remind you of your unique strengths and progress. Set goals based on your values. Define what success means to you. What are your core values? What truly matters in your life? Set goals that align with your values and build a plan to achieve them. When your goals are personal, you'll find fulfillment in the journey rather than comparing outcomes with others. Limit exposure to triggers. If social media or certain environments make you feel inadequate, reduce your time in those spaces. Curate your feeds to focus on inspiring, positive content. Surround yourself with people who support your growth rather than fuel your insecurities. Practice. Gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. Every day, list 3 things you're grateful for. It's a simple yet powerful way to cultivate contentment. Focus on your growth. Life is not a race, but a journey. Measure your progress by where you started, not by someone else's achievements. Keep asking yourself, am I better than I was yesterday? If the answer is yes, you're on the right track. Celebrate the success of others. Instead of envying others' accomplishments, learn to celebrate them. Their success does not diminish yours. In fact, it can inspire you. Remember, admiration doesn't have to equal comparison. You can appreciate someone's achievements without measuring yourself against them. Imagine this. You're climbing a mountain and the summit represents your personal goals. Along the way, you see others on different paths. Some ahead, some behind, some on completely different trails. Would you abandon your climb to follow someone else's? Of course not. You understand that your path is your own. The same principle applies in life. Stay focused on your journey. Stop looking sideways and instead look forward, where your goals await. Comparison is a habit that diminishes your energy and clouds your potential. By embracing the Stoic perspective and turning inward, you free yourself from the endless cycle of self-doubt. You'll learn to find joy in your progress and contentment in your journey. Two, release the need for perfection. Perfectionism is often seen as a noble pursuit, a drive to do things flawlessly, to reach the highest standards. But in reality, it's a double-edged sword. While striving for excellence is admirable, the constant pursuit of perfection often leads to frustration, burnout, and a never-ending sense of inadequacy. Instead of propelling you forward, it can trap you in an exhausting cycle where nothing ever feels good enough. Perfectionism may start with good intentions, but its effects are rarely positive. Paralysis by analysis. When you're obsessed with doing something perfectly, you spend more time overthinking than acting. Projects remain unfinished because you're stuck fine-tuning details no one else will notice. Fear of failure. Perfectionism creates an irrational fear of making mistakes. This fear can stop you from trying new things or taking risks, both of which are essential for growth. Burnout and disappointment. The impossibly high standards of perfectionism are unattainable, leaving you exhausted and disappointed when you inevitably fall short. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, taught us the importance of focusing on what is within our control. He said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Striving for perfection is an illusion because perfection itself is beyond our control. It doesn't exist. What we can control, however, is the effort we put into our actions and the mindset we maintain while doing them. The Stoics believed in progress over perfection. Instead of obsessing over flawless outcomes, they encouraged focusing on virtuous actions and continuous improvement. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This highlights the importance of aligning your actions with your values rather than chasing unattainable ideals. By shifting your perspective, you'll see that life is not about perfection. It's about learning, growing, and evolving. Mistakes aren't failures. They're stepping stones on the path to mastery. How to release perfectionism. Focus on progress, not outcomes. Break down your goals into smaller, manageable steps. Celebrate small victories along the way. Ask yourself, am I better than I was yesterday? Progress, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. Redefine success. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for authenticity and effort. Success is not about flawless execution. It's about showing up and giving your best. Shift your mindset from "what if I fail" to "what can I learn from this?" Set realistic expectations. Understand that perfection is unattainable, and that's okay. Setting realistic, achievable goals keeps you motivated without the pressure of perfectionism. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Mistakes are not the end. They're valuable teachers. Every misstep provides insight into how you can improve and grow. Adopt the good enough mindset. Sometimes getting the job done is better than doing it perfectly. Learn to recognize when something is good enough and move on. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness when you make mistakes. Instead of criticizing yourself, reflect on what went wrong and how you can do better next time. Imagine you're painting a picture. If you obsess over making every stroke perfect, you'll lose the joy of creating and may never finish the artwork. But if you focus on the process, the act of painting, you'll not only complete the picture, but you'll also appreciate the journey. Life is no different. When you let go of perfectionism, you free yourself to create, explore, and enjoy the process of becoming. You stop defining yourself by impossible standards and start living authentically. Perfectionism is a weight you don't need to carry. By releasing it, you gain clarity, confidence, and the freedom to embrace progress. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being present and giving your best. So ask yourself, what is one area in your life where perfectionism is holding you back? Take one small step today to embrace progress over perfection. You'll be amazed at how much lighter and more fulfilled you'll feel. 3. Let go of overthinking the past and worrying about the future. The human mind has a unique ability to wander through time. It allows us to reflect on the past and plan for the future, but this gift can become a curse when overthinking takes over. Dwelling on past mistakes or obsessively worrying about what's to come drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and prevents you from fully living in the present. Why overthinking is harmful. The past is unchangeable. Replaying past mistakes or regrets doesn't change what happened. Instead, it reinforces feelings of guilt, shame, or sadness, trapping you in a cycle of negativity. The future is uncertain. Constantly worrying about what might happen leads to anxiety. Since the future is unpredictable, worrying serves no purpose other than to create unnecessary stress. It steals your present. When you're fixated on the past or future, you miss the beauty of the present moment, the only time you can truly live and take meaningful action. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This highlights how much of our pain comes from scenarios we create in our minds, not from actual events. Overthinking magnifies fears, fabricates problems, and prevents us from appreciating what's here and now. Stoicism teaches us to embrace the present and focus on what we can control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The past and future are outside our control, but the present is entirely within our grasp. By concentrating on the present moment, we can direct our energy toward meaningful actions rather than futile worries. How to let go of overthinking practice. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of grounding yourself in the present. It helps you observe your thoughts without judgment, allowing you to detach from unproductive worries. Try simple mindfulness exercises. Focus on your breath, observe your surroundings, or engage fully in a task without distractions. Acknowledge what you can't control. Use the Stoic dichotomy of control as a guide. Ask yourself, is this within my power to change? If not, let it go. Worrying won't alter the outcome. Epictetus advised, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. Focus on your reactions and choices, not external events. Turn lessons into growth. Instead of ruminating on past mistakes, extract lessons from them. Reflect briefly on what went wrong, then use that knowledge to improve moving forward. Treat mistakes as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Set boundaries for worrying. If you find yourself constantly worrying, set a worry window. Give yourself 10 to 15 minutes a day to think about concerns, then move on to productive tasks. This practice trains your mind to limit overthinking and prioritize action. Engage in purposeful action. The best antidote to overthinking is action. When you take steps toward a goal, no matter how small, your mind shifts from rumination to problem solving. Even small actions like tidying up a space or journaling can help break the cycle of overthinking. Imagine you're holding two heavy bags, one filled with the regrets of the past, the other with worries about the future. Carrying both leaves you exhausted and unable to enjoy the path you're walking. By letting go of these burdens, you free yourself to move forward with ease and clarity. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or future entirely. It means acknowledging them without letting them dominate your thoughts. The present is where your power lies. It's where decisions are made, progress is achieved, and life unfolds. The past is a memory, and the future is a possibility. The present, however, is a reality, your reality. By releasing overthinking, you allow yourself to fully engage with life and make the most of every moment. So, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I do right now to create a better future? Then do it. Small, mindful actions in the present will shape a life of peace, clarity, and purpose. Fourth, let go of uncontrolled anger. Anger, when left unchecked, is like a wildfire. It starts small but can quickly grow out of control, consuming everything in its path. While it's a natural human emotion, uncontrolled anger often does more harm than good. It clouds your judgment, damages relationships, and leaves you feeling drained. Worse yet, it gives control of your emotions to external circumstances or other people. Marcus Aurelius, a master of Stoic philosophy, once wrote, "You will find rest from vain fancies if you perform every act in life as though it were your last." This advice reminds us to act with intention and purpose, not out of impulsive emotions like anger. Unchecked anger rarely leads to meaningful outcomes. Instead, it creates regret and fractures the peace you strive for. The Stoics believe that anger arises when we expect reality to align perfectly with our desires, and it often stems from our failure to control how we react to external events. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. By understanding that external circumstances are often beyond our control, we can begin to let go of the frustration they provoke. For instance, being stuck in traffic is not something you can change, but your reaction to it is entirely within your power. Instead of fuming at the inconvenience, you can use that time to listen to an inspiring podcast, practice deep breathing, or simply accept the situation as it is. Letting go of anger doesn't mean suppressing it or pretending it doesn't exist. It means recognizing it, understanding its root cause, and choosing a measured response. When you feel anger rising, pause and ask yourself, will this matter in an hour, a day, or a year? Most of the time, the answer is no. By putting your emotions into perspective, you can regain control over your reactions. Practical steps like taking deep breaths, walking away from the situation, or even counting to 10 can create the space needed to respond thoughtfully instead of lashing out. Imagine how much lighter life would feel if you stopped letting anger dictate your actions. You'd find more clarity in your decisions, strengthen your relationships, and maintain your inner peace. The Stoic path is one of calm and composure, where you choose reason over rage and progress over impulsivity. By mastering anger, you take back control of your mind and your life. 5. Stop seeking approval from others. One of the greatest barriers to inner peace is the constant need for validation from others, whether it's the approval of friends, colleagues, or even strangers, this pursuit often leaves you feeling drained and dissatisfied. When you base your sense of self-worth on external opinions, you surrender control of your happiness to forces beyond your influence. Epictetus, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, advised, "Seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourselves." This timeless wisdom encourages us to shift our focus inward, where true contentment lies. The need for approval stems from a deep desire to belong and feel valued. But the truth is that not everyone will understand or appreciate your choices. And that's okay. Trying to please everyone is an impossible task, one that leads only to frustration and a diluted sense of self. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control how others perceive us, but we can control how we perceive ourselves. Instead of worrying about what others think, ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my values? If the answer is yes, that's all the validation you need. Releasing the need for approval doesn't mean disregarding constructive feedback or becoming arrogant. Rather, it's about discerning between opinions that help you grow and those that hold you back. For example, criticism from a trusted mentor can guide you toward improvement, while judgment from someone who doesn't understand your journey is irrelevant. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This irony highlights the absurdity of letting others define your worth. To break free from this cycle, start by practicing self-approval. Reflect on your accomplishments, values, and the effort you put into living a virtuous life. Celebrate your progress without seeking validation from outside sources. Additionally, set boundaries with those who consistently undermine your confidence or project their insecurities onto you. Surround yourself with individuals who respect and support your growth, and remember that your journey is yours alone. By letting go of the need for approval, you reclaim your power and create space for authenticity. You begin to act not out of a desire to impress others, but from a genuine commitment to your own values and goals. In doing so, you'll discover a profound sense of freedom, one rooted in the knowledge that your worth is defined by you and you alone. Six, let go of toxic relationships. Relationships are meant to nourish, support, and inspire us, yet some connections do the opposite. They drain our energy, instill doubt, and stifle growth. These toxic relationships, whether with friends, family, or partners, act like invisible chains, holding you back from becoming the best version of yourself. The Stoics, with their focus on self-mastery and inner peace, teach us that our environment, including the people we surround ourselves with, greatly influences our thoughts and actions. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "Do not waste what remains of your life in thoughts about others when you are not referring to some purpose of your own." This insight reminds us to prioritize relationships that align with our values and enrich our lives. Toxic relationships often thrive on imbalance. One person takes more than they give, undermines your confidence, or manipulates your emotions. These connections may persist due to guilt, fear of confrontation, or a misguided sense of obligation, but the truth is that continuing to nurture such relationships comes at a great cost: your peace of mind. Epictetus warned, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." By holding on to toxic people, you deny yourself the opportunity to build meaningful connections that foster growth and mutual respect. Letting go of toxic relationships is not an act of cruelty, but one of self-respect. Start by identifying the relationships in your life that consistently bring negativity or leave you feeling drained. Reflect on whether these connections align with your values and contribute to your well-being. If the answer is no, it's time to create boundaries. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting ties abruptly or completely. Sometimes, limiting interactions or redefining the relationship can restore balance. The process of distancing yourself from toxic relationships can be challenging, especially if the person involved has been a significant part of your life. However, the relief and clarity that follow are worth the effort. Imagine your life as a garden. You need to prune away the weeds to allow room for the flowers to thrive. By letting go of those who bring negativity, you create space for people who uplift and inspire you. Ultimately, the quality of your relationships profoundly impacts the quality of your life. Surround yourself with individuals who encourage your growth, challenge you in constructive ways, and celebrate your successes without envy. The Stoic path calls for relationships built on mutual respect and shared values, and by embracing this philosophy, you protect your peace, nurture your potential, and honor your journey. Seven, let go of the fear of failure. Fear of failure is one of the most paralyzing emotions, keeping us from pursuing opportunities, taking risks, and realizing our full potential. It whispers doubts into our minds, convincing us that it's safer to stay in our comfort zones than to face the possibility of falling short. But Stoic philosophy teaches us that failure is not something to fear. It's an essential part of growth and self-improvement. As Epictetus wisely said, "What ought one to say then, as each difficulty presents itself? I was practicing for this. I was training for this." To the Stoics, failure was simply a challenge to overcome, a test of resilience, and an opportunity to learn. The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone on the path to achieving it. Every great achievement in history has been built on a foundation of trial and error. Whether it's an entrepreneur launching a business, an artist perfecting their craft, or a student mastering a subject, no one reaches the top without encountering setbacks along the way. The Stoics remind us that what truly matters is not the outcome, but how we respond to it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, every failure contains within it the seeds of growth, as long as we approach it with the right mindset. To let go of the fear of failure, begin by reframing how you perceive it. Instead of viewing failure as a verdict on your abilities, see it as feedback, a necessary part of the process of learning and improving. When you fail, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger or wiser as a result? By shifting your perspective, failure becomes less intimidating and more empowering. Take small, calculated risks to build your confidence. Each step outside your comfort zone teaches you that failure is not the end, but a beginning. Additionally, practice self-compassion when you fall short. Instead of criticizing yourself, reflect on your efforts and acknowledge the courage it took to try. Remember that even the act of attempting something new is a victory in itself. Imagine a life where fear no longer holds you back, where you embrace challenges with curiosity and determination, unafraid of the outcome. This is the freedom that comes with letting go of the fear of failure. The Stoic approach calls for courage, resilience, and the wisdom to see setbacks as opportunities for growth. By facing failure head-on, you unlock your true potential and take meaningful steps toward becoming the best version of yourself. 8. Stop explaining yourself to those who won't listen. There's a deep and natural human desire to be understood, to have our thoughts, feelings, and actions validated by others. Yet, there are times when no matter how much effort you put into explaining yourself, the other person simply refuses to listen. Whether it's due to their biases, lack of empathy, or unwillingness to consider your perspective, these futile attempts to gain their understanding can drain your energy and rob you of your peace. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. Epictetus encapsulated this wisdom perfectly. If you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. Be satisfied if you can live true to your values. When you constantly try to explain yourself to someone who has already decided not to listen, you hand over your emotional power to them. This creates frustration and a cycle of trying harder, only to feel even more invalidated. The Stoics would remind you that how others perceive you is beyond your control, and placing your self-worth in their hands is both unproductive and harmful. Marcus Aurelius said, "You always have the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you cannot control." This includes the opinions and judgments of others. To let go of the need to explain yourself, start by recognizing when you're engaging with someone who isn't open to understanding. Instead of wasting energy on arguments or justifications, focus on staying true to your values and intentions. Ask yourself, am I acting with integrity? Am I being authentic? If the answer is yes, that's all the validation you need. Silence can often be more powerful than words. It demonstrates self-control and a refusal to engage in fruitless conflict. It's important to remember that letting go of explanations doesn't mean suppressing your voice. It means choosing when and where to share it wisely. Save your energy for conversations with those who genuinely seek to understand, and don't feel the need to justify yourself to those who only aim to criticize or belittle. By stepping away from unnecessary explanations, you free yourself to focus on what truly matters: your personal growth, your relationships with supportive individuals, and the pursuit of your goals. Imagine the clarity and calm that comes from no longer feeling the need to explain your every decision or defend your actions to those who don't care to understand. This is the freedom Stoicism offers, living authentically, guided by your values, and letting your actions speak louder than words. By doing so, you reclaim your time, your energy, and most importantly, your peace. 9. Let go of unhealthy habits. Our habits define us. They shape our days, influence our thoughts, and ultimately determine the direction of our lives. Yet many of us hold on to habits that harm us, physically, mentally, or emotionally, because they feel comfortable, familiar, or simply hard to change. Stoicism emphasizes self-discipline and the importance of aligning our actions with our higher goals. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The same principle applies to habits. While external circumstances may feel overwhelming, we always have the power to take control of our daily behaviors. Unhealthy habits can take many forms. It could be a lack of exercise, eating processed or unhealthy foods, overspending, procrastinating, or consuming too much social media. These habits don't always appear harmful at first glance, but over time, they erode your well-being, steal your time, and hinder your ability to live a purposeful life. Worse yet, they often create cycles of guilt and regret, making it even harder to break free. Epictetus reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To achieve true freedom and peace, we must have the courage to examine our habits and the discipline to replace the bad with the good. The first step to letting go of unhealthy habits is awareness. Reflect on your daily routines and ask yourself, what habits are holding me back? What behaviors are misaligned with my values and goals? This process of self-examination is a cornerstone of Stoic practice and lays the groundwork for meaningful change. Once you've identified the habits you need to change, start small. Trying to overhaul your life overnight is a recipe for failure, but focusing on one habit at a time allows for sustainable progress. Replace harmful habits with positive ones. For example, swap scrolling on your phone at night with reading a book, or replace sugary snacks with healthy alternatives. The key is consistency. Even small changes, when practiced daily, can lead to profound transformations over time. Celebrate each victory, no matter how minor, as these small wins build the momentum needed for larger shifts. Finally, remember that setbacks are part of the process. Stoicism teaches us not to dwell on failures, but to learn from them and move forward. If you slip back into an old habit, don't let guilt or frustration derail you. Instead, treat it as an opportunity to strengthen your resolve and recommit to your goals. Imagine the freedom of a life unburdened by unhealthy habits, a life where your actions align with your aspirations and each day brings you closer to becoming the person you want to be. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you make room for habits that nourish your mind, body, and soul. This is the Stoic path to mastery, steady, intentional, and deeply rewarding. Let go of unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations are a hidden source of frustration and disappointment, often leaving us feeling inadequate or unfulfilled when reality doesn't align with our hopes. Whether it's expecting perfection from ourselves, fairness from others, or a smooth journey in life, these expectations set us up for failure. Stoicism teaches us to embrace life as it is, not as we wish it to be. Marcus Aurelius encapsulated this wisdom when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This timeless advice reminds us that peace comes from aligning our expectations with reality, focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot. Unrealistic expectations often arise from overestimating our control over external circumstances or from seeking guarantees in an unpredictable world. We might expect instant success in a new venture, unwavering loyalty from others, or a life free of hardship. When these expectations inevitably clash with reality, the result is disappointment, resentment, and even bitterness. The Stoics viewed this as a fundamental misunderstanding of life's nature. Epictetus taught, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." By adjusting our judgments, our expectations, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. To let go of unrealistic expectations, start by reflecting on where they stem from. Are they influenced by societal pressures, comparisons to others, or past experiences? Once identified, examine whether these expectations are reasonable and within your control. For example, expecting others to always agree with you or life to go exactly as planned is beyond your power. Recognizing this helps you shift your focus to what truly matters: your effort, your mindset, and your response to challenges. Embrace flexibility in your goals and approach. Instead of rigidly expecting a specific outcome, adopt the mindset of adaptability. If something doesn't go as planned, consider it an opportunity to learn and grow rather than a failure. This perspective allows you to remain resilient in the face of adversity, finding meaning even in setbacks. Practicing gratitude is another powerful way to recalibrate your expectations. By appreciating what you have, you can shift your focus from what's missing to what's present, fostering contentment and reducing the pressure of unrealistic desires. Gratitude reminds you that life's value lies not in achieving perfection, but in savoring the journey, with all its ups and downs. Letting go of unrealistic expectations doesn't mean abandoning ambition or settling for mediocrity. Instead, it's about approaching life with clarity, humility, and acceptance. By aligning your expectations with reality, you gain the freedom to appreciate what is, rather than longing for what isn't. This Stoic wisdom allows you to live with greater peace, purpose, and resilience, unburdened by the weight of impossible standards. 8. Stop explaining yourself to those who won't listen. There's a deep and natural human desire to be understood, to have our thoughts, feelings, and actions validated by others. Yet, there are times when no matter how much effort you put into explaining yourself, the other person simply refuses to listen. Whether it's due to their biases, lack of empathy, or unwillingness to consider your perspective, these futile attempts to gain their understanding can drain your energy and rob you of your peace. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. Epictetus encapsulated this wisdom perfectly. If you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. Be satisfied if you can live true to your values. When you constantly try to explain yourself to someone who has already decided not to listen, you hand over your emotional power to them. This creates frustration and a cycle of trying harder, only to feel even more invalidated. The Stoics would remind you that how others perceive you is beyond your control, and placing your self-worth in their hands is both unproductive and harmful. Marcus Aurelius said, "You always have the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you cannot control." This includes the opinions and judgments of others. To let go of the need to explain yourself, start by recognizing when you're engaging with someone who isn't open to understanding. Instead of wasting energy on arguments or justifications, focus on staying true to your values and intentions. Ask yourself, am I acting with integrity? Am I being authentic? If the answer is yes, that's all the validation you need. Silence can often be more powerful than words. It demonstrates self-control and a refusal to engage in fruitless conflict. It's important to remember that letting go of explanations doesn't mean suppressing your voice. It means choosing when and where to share it wisely. Save your energy for conversations with those who genuinely seek to understand, and don't feel the need to justify yourself to those who only aim to criticize or belittle. By stepping away from unnecessary explanations, you free yourself to focus on what truly matters: your personal growth, your relationships with supportive individuals, and the pursuit of your goals. Imagine the clarity and calm that comes from no longer feeling the need to explain your every decision or defend your actions to those who don't care to understand. This is the freedom Stoicism offers, living authentically, guided by your values, and letting your actions speak louder than words. By doing so, you reclaim your time, your energy, and most importantly, your peace. This journey is not about perfection or overnight transformation. It's about small intentional steps, choosing progress over stagnation, growth over comfort, and resilience over resistance. Let each decision, no matter how small, move you closer to the life you deserve, a life of meaning, strength, and serenity. As we close, I invite you to reflect on one thing you're ready to let go of today. Write it down, say it out loud, and make the commitment to release it. Share your journey in the comments below, and let's support each other in this transformative path. And if this message resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe and join our community as we continue exploring the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and personal growth. You hold the power to change your life. It begins with a single choice, the choice to let go. Now is the time to take that step and embrace the freedom, clarity, and purpose that await you. Let's walk this path together.